You've probably known a cheater. Maybe you were with one. Maybe your parent was one. Maybe your best friend just found out about theirs. And after every one of those moments, the same question runs quietly through your head. Was there something about that person I could have seen before it happened? Decades of research have tried to answer this. The finding is nuanced. People who cheat don't all share one profile, but 6 specific psychological traits appear disproportionately in the people who do it more than once. Almost nobody has laid them out honestly. Here they are. If you've spent time trying to understand what makes someone the kind of person who cheats, the actual psychology is more specific than the culture usually says, and more limited than the internet usually promises. 6 traits keep appearing in the research. None of them are guarantees. All of them raise the statistical odds. And if you've quietly recognized one of them in a past partner or in yourself, that recognition is real, not proof of anything, but a real pattern that has been documented by decades of relationship science. The Big 5 personality research is one of the most replicated findings in psychology. Of the 5 traits it measures, 2 consistently predict infidelity across studies. Low conscientiousness, the tendency toward impulsivity, low follow-through, difficulty delaying gratification, combined with high sensation-seeking, which is the appetite for novelty, risk, and stimulation. Neither trait alone predicts cheating strongly. Together, they predict it reliably. The person low in conscientiousness struggles to hold long-term commitments as more important than short-term impulses. The person high in sensation-seeking finds ordinary intimacy dulling faster than most people do. When both traits are stacked in one person, the psychological cost of resisting temptation is significantly higher than average, and the psychological reward of giving in is significantly larger. Attachment theory, originally developed by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth in the mid-20th century and modernized in the 2000s by researchers like Amir Levine, has produced a reliable finding. People with insecure attachment styles cheat at higher rates than people with secure attachment. But the mechanism is different for the 2 types. Anxious attachment cheats out of fear of losing the primary partner. The affair functions as a backup plan against abandonment. Avoidant attachment cheats out of the specific discomfort intimacy produces. The affair functions as an exit valve when closeness feels suffocating. Both look like betrayal from outside. Inside, they're solving different psychological problems. A secure partner is much less likely to cheat because they don't have either problem to solve. Research on narcissism and infidelity has documented a specific belief pattern that raises the odds of cheating substantially. The person believes they can always find another partner if this one doesn't work out. They believe their attractiveness, income, status, or personality gives them a wider dating pool than they actually have. This isn't the same as confidence. It's a specific miscalibration of self-perception in the mating market. People who overestimate their mate value experience their current relationship as one option among many, rather than as the primary commitment. The affair becomes less scary because the loss of the partner feels replaceable, whether it actually is or not. Kenneth Levy's research on narcissism in relationships has documented this pattern extensively. This one is less about morality and more about cognitive architecture. Some people are unusually good at holding 2 contradictory realities in their heads at the same time without one contaminating the other. They can love their spouse fully on Tuesday, have an affair on Wednesday, come home to their family on Thursday, and experience each of those states as complete and separate. Most people can't do this. The cognitive dissonance would collapse them within days. The compartmentalizers don't feel the dissonance. This isn't a moral failing exactly. It's a specific cognitive capacity that most people don't have. But it removes one of the main internal brakes that stops the average person from starting an affair in the first place. In serial cheaters, this trait shows up disproportionately. Psychologist Jonathan Haidt's Moral Foundations research documented that humans vary widely in what triggers moral disgust. Some people feel visceral revulsion at ethical violations. They physically recoil from lying, from betrayal, from broken promises. Others don't. The trait is measurable, stable across the lifespan, and appears to be partly heritable. People low in ethical disgust don't lack morals in the intellectual sense. They can articulate what's right and wrong perfectly well. What they lack is the automatic body response most people have when they consider crossing an ethical line. Without that body response, the internal cost of cheating drops significantly. They can weigh the decision more calmly, which sounds neutral until you realize that calm weighing of a betrayal is exactly what most partners are trying to avoid marrying. The intergenerational transmission finding is one of the most consistent in the infidelity literature. Adults whose parents cheated are measurably more likely to cheat themselves, even when they consciously hated what happened, even when they swore they would never do the same thing. The mechanism isn't inherited character. It's that the child watched a template for how a marriage handles temptation, secrecy, and betrayal, and that template installed as a possible option, whether the child endorsed it or not. Therapy can diffuse the pattern, but without the work, the template runs quietly in the background, especially in moments when the person's current relationship starts to resemble the parental one. Not every child of a cheater cheats, but statistically, more of them do than of children whose parents didn't. Now let's be honest about what these 6 traits are and aren't. They're statistical patterns. They're not diagnostic tests. Many people with 3 or 4 of these traits never cheat. Many people who cheat don't have any of them. Situational factors, opportunity, alcohol, a relationship phase gone bad, a specific moment of longing, explain more variance in real affairs than personality traits do. Esther Perel, whose work on infidelity is foundational, argues persuasively that many affairs happen in genuinely good marriages to genuinely good people. That's true too. Both things are true simultaneously. The traits above raise statistical odds. They don't identify who will and won't cross the line. Anyone using this video to screen a partner will get some things right and other things badly wrong. Recognize the pattern. Don't confuse it for prediction, but for the person watching this because you've been trying to understand what happened to you, or what almost happened. Here's what the research actually shows. Serial cheaters, the people who do it more than once, in more than one relationship, tend to have some combination of the 6 traits above. That's real. It doesn't excuse anything. It explains something. Understanding the pattern lets you stop asking whether you missed a sign that was actually invisible, and start recognizing which signs are visible if you know what to look for. You're not naive. You're not stupid for missing what happened. Most of the traits above are internal, and most of them don't show until they show. If you're the person I've been describing for the last 8 minutes, the one who has been cheated on and has spent months or years asking how you didn't see it, or the one trying to understand a pattern in someone in your life, I want you to hear this. You didn't miss it because you were foolish. You missed it because most of the pattern was invisible until someone showed you what to look for. What happened to you wasn't a failure of your judgment. It was the specific way this pattern hides itself from the people closest to it. If any part of this landed for you, I'd love to know. Tell me in the comments about a trait you recognized in your own past, or a moment where the pattern made sense in retrospect. I read the comments. If you want more videos that name what actually happens inside patterns most people never have the language for, that's what this channel is for. Hit subscribe. See you in the next.